on It's Supernatural. At age 12, Franklin Walden was carried into the heavens and was told he would minister healing to hurting people, and that it would be seen and heard throughout the world. He has seen the lame walk, the blind see, and the dead being raised to life. Nothing is impossible in the realm of the supernatural.
Do angels exist? Are healing miracles real? Is there life after death? Can people get supernatural help from another dimension? Has the future been written in advance? Sid Roth has spent 25 years researching the strange world of the supernatural. Join Sid on this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth welcoming you to my world where it's naturally supernatural. Take a deep breath. Breathe in that rarefied air of heaven. Have you ever heard of a creative miracle? My guest was born with one kidney. And horror of horrors, that one kidney went bad. She was wired up for what's called dialysis. No hope. Outside of the only way she could live is with this dialysis. But Ruth Kersey had a brother-in-law that believed in miracles, Franklin Walden. Ruth, tell me what happened to you when your one kidney went bad.
Well, I kept swelling and the fluid wasn't going out of my body. And then the doctor decided that I had to go on dialysis because they had done all different things. I'd been in the hospital off and on quite a bit. And so then I went in and got prepped to go on dialysis. And coming home, me and my husband stopped by Franklin and Carolyn, and we walked in, and they was fixing to go to a meeting out of town, and so we prayed, and all of us met in the living room and prayed, and he prayed for me, and he said, where a knowledge came, and he said, before you go on that, he said, have them to recheck you.
Now, Franklin, when a word of knowledge comes upon you, when you're praying for your sister-in-law, are you 100% sure that person is healed?
100%.
Okay, so you had this word. Did you go to a doctor? What did you do next?
I went back to the hospital. Well, I went by the doctor's office, and I told him, I said, I want to be rechecked. I don't want to go on dialysis if I don't have to. I didn't tell him what had happened.
Now, did you believe you were healed?
I knew I was healed.
That's faith. Okay, go ahead.
I knew I was healed because things was different in my body. I didn't have the pain.
I know, but what did the doctors say? You knew you were healed. What the doctor? I want to know what the doctors said.
He said, okay, Ruth, he said, I'll do it. He said, you look different this morning. That was before they did any tests or any x-rays or anything. And so when the lady that took the x-rays, she said, are you sure you who you are? I said, you want my ID? She said, wasn't you here yesterday? I said, yes, ma'am. And she looked at my wristband, and back at her paperwork and all. And so she run out of the room. Well, the doctor come back in, and he looked at me and smiled. He said, you know what? He said, you got 2 kidneys.
2 kidneys? Did you get that? She had one bad kidney. She's prayed for. She has 2 kidneys. Well, what happened to the bad kidney? Was that good now?
Yes, it was. They did tests that showed the fluid intake of the kidneys, how it was boiling out of your body, and that kind of thing. And they said both kidneys was perfect.
How did the doctors account for the fact that one kidney is on failure and it's perfect, the second kidney doesn't even exist, and now it exists? What did the doctors say?
He told me it was a miracle, that only God could have done it.
I'm sure of that. Franklin, you intrigue me so much because as it starts with your father. Your father, at one point, had an encounter with God that caused people to think he was crazy. Tell me about that.
He went in the spirit 6 days and 6 nights, and they didn't understand what was going on. My dad was a Methodist.
Now, you say when he went in the spirit. What do you mean by that? He was more in the spirit world than in the real world?
Yeah, that's right. And he was shut himself away, and he was there for 6 days and 6 nights, and my granddaddy, on my mother's side, had already prepared him to go to the mental institution when he came out after 6 days. While he was in there, the Lord carried him through the Bible, and he went from Genesis to Revelation because he couldn't read and he couldn't even sign his own name. And
But you told me in later years you would test, and others would test your father, knowing he couldn't read, and you would read passages of the Bible, and what would he say?
It's not that way, son. Back up.
Now, did you understand that? In other words, his father could not read. And Jesus taught him the Bible, and Franklin would read from the Bible, and if he'd have one letter out of place, what would your father say?
It's not right. Back up. Read it again.
Now, I want to stretch you. If I haven't stretched you already, I want to stretch you further. Franklin, your mother died. What happened to her?
Lightning struck her and hit her right in the crown of the head, and then it hit me too. I was paralyzed on one side. But
now, what'd your father do?
My father, he picked her up, put her head in his lap, and he was praying unto God. And he said, God, I can't raise these children by myself. Please give her back to me. And as he cried, I saw it, tears dropping out of his eyes, hit Mother on the cheek. She'd been dead about 30 minutes. And when the tears hit Mother's cheeks, life came back in my body.
When you see something like that, you can never be the same, can you?
Never have been the same.
Oh, I'm going to tell you something. Just watching this show, you're going to be mentored in the supernatural. I mean, rods turned from metal to bone. People fall out of trees and break their legs, and they're instantly healed. I mean, don't go away. You're about ready to venture in to the supernatural like you never have before. Be right back.